Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. Hope that you are all having a great day. We are live. Earlier, we were not, but I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, a big thank you to my moderators for holding down the comment section and all that you do. You do a marvelous job. Could not and would not do this without you. Today, we're going to be talking about Don Lemon and Joy Reid. I'm having a message for and it's not my words, the Bojankity, tap dancing, ignorant brothers, especially the ones that have something to say about Representative Jasmine Crockett. Now, this is, I guess, coming out of the backlash that people have for Stephen A. Smith, who had an admonishment, in a sense, for that of Representative Jasmine Crockett. And so I'm going to show y'all their video and then the video that they're actually responding to. So we're going to have an interesting conversation. Donovan, what say you?
Welcome, you guys. It is 3 o'clock here on a Monday. This is going to be a kind of great thing for me as I'm doing other things right now. It's October 20, 2025. Welcome back to all our moderators and our great listeners. Hey, do us a favor. If you guys want to keep these great conversations going, there's ways you can do it. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money order, however you guys want to do it. It does keep the moderator motivated to have these great conversations with you guys. And for those of you guys that continue to support us and donate, we greatly appreciate it. Again, it takes time and effort to come up with these stories and these conversations, and personally, just to get on here and see you guys, or not see you guys, but interact with you guys, for me, makes my week. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. If we can get 10 people a show to download that app, because Demetra, I get so tired of people saying, well, we got to get our own app. We got to do our own thing. There is an app that is for us and by us, the African Diaspora News app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. And always remember, what you see on your YouTube algorithm, you see Demetra K, you see Vicky Daly, you do see Phil Scott, but you're also missing out on original content that is specific to that app. So you're going to not see stories that Demetra puts up that is on the YouTube algorithm. It's specifically for the app. So if you're interested in doing that, please download the African Diaspora News Channel app, available on Google Play, Apple Store.
Brother Reggie, you got a name for these people every time we come out here. But how you doing? Mrs. South Carolina, how you doing? Arniva, what is up with you? And Mata Chan, y'all names is all the squashed together, but Little Rock, Arkansas, how you doing? And Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? So let's get into it for a second time. So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, there's been a lot of brouhaha, if you will, in regards to Stephen A. Smith, who is, I guess, originally a sports commentator, but it seems like he's delved into politics now, because I saw him sitting down with News Nation, Chris Cuomo's show or whatever it was, and they were talking to some of the senators and Congress people, because there's a shutdown going on, and Stephen A. Smith was there. But lately, he's been having a large opinion. Of course, you know that he did say he voted for Kamala. And then after she lost, it seems like he started to talk a little bit more about the Republican side and kind of sound a little bit more favorable to Trump and all of that. Well, recently, he said some things about Jasmine Crockett that a lot of people disagreed with. And so what I'm about to show you is that Don Lemon, I guess, I don't know if him and Joy have a show now, but Don Lemon, Joy Reid, and Jasmine Crockett, they're speaking. Now, you guys remember also that Don Lemon, he was on CNN for a very long time, but he left for whatever reason. Joy Reid was on MSNBC, but it sounds like she was fired. So now they're kind of on the internet with the rest of us, I guess. And so you're going to see this conversation, and then you'll see what Stephen A. Smith said. So here we go.
Can we get some of these Bojankity, tap dancing, ignorant brothers out here, black men, to stop attacking black women publicly, especially when they don't know what the F they're talking about? We need to be supporting each other. And if you're going to come at somebody, come at them with some real information. Stop going around criticizing black women because it just ain't right.
Everybody saw the movie Django Unchained. Remember the name of the person who cared more about the love of the slave master than he did about the love of his people, to care for his people? His name was Stephen. And Stephen was somebody who was willing to sell out his fellow African enslaved people. So what I would say to the Stephens who are in our world today, understand that the master will never love you.
There are people that have taken the time to understand that I always keep at the forefront the people that elected me to DC. What you see, if you're not in my district, may not necessarily be all of the substance that also comes with me, but there is plenty of substance. And if anybody ever wanted to ask, just like anything else, I always have receipts for the work that I have done. So I will just say that I appreciate the community and the culture, because this is something that I never even had to address or deal with, because the community decided to speak up before I even knew what was happening. So I appreciate you. It does hurt, because it's like I expect more and better. And frankly, I am always down for a real conversation. I really am. I mean, but I haven't even experienced that type of stuff coming out of even black men on the other side of the aisle in Congress. They even have enough respect to say we disagree on this policy or whatever, and we'll go back and forth. But like, they have not tried to do what somebody else tried to do. So it's all good when you know that you're walking in the purpose that God has put on your life. I'm gonna keep doing me, and you know, the world will continue.
It's always worse for us. Pick any historical data you want to point to. It is always worse for us. And I believe the biggest reason in this day and age ain't even about racism to the degree it once was. What it's really about is us not strategizing, playing checkers instead of chess, letting our emotions instead of facts lead the way, and letting that guide us to express ourselves in ways that serve to alienate the very people who can help us. You AOC, you Jasmine Crockett, or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done, as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him, since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating.
Okay. So I'm going to remove all of them. Now, let's just get into it very briefly as to what they all said. So, of course, y'all heard Don Lemon criticize Bojankity, tap dancing, ignorant brothers who criticize and attack black women, is what he said. And, of course, I guess we're correlating that to what Stephen A. Smith was saying, right? Now, Joy likened those brothers to Stephen from Django. That's Samuel L. Jackson's character's name, Stephen. A lot of times people use it to reference Django. And, you know, she kind of filled it out about basically tap dancing for massa. And then we heard Jasmine Crockett say basically she's done a lot, and it hurts when brothers, or she hear brothers, I guess, say that. But the black men in Congress on the other side of the aisle don't even talk about or to her like that. So it's heartbreaking in a sense. So once again, I took it upon myself to see exactly what Jasmine has been doing as a representative for the 30th district and in Tarrant counties, because she was a state representative or senator, I think representative, state representative before she went to Congress. So anyway, it says some of the things that she's accomplished. Now I want y'all to pay very close attention. So it says federal funding and constituent services. Her office reports that since entering Congress in 2023, she has secured millions of dollars in federal funding for her district and created new initiatives to make her office more accessible to constituents across North Texas. As a member of Congress, she serves on major committees, example, the House Committee on Judiciary and the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, which gives her platform to advocate for her district's interests. Now, she has been a vocal advocate for expanding voting access and combating suppression, particularly in Texas. For example, as a state representative, she participated in and helped lead the quorum and break in the Texas House of Representatives in 2021 to block restrictive voting legislation. In Congress, she backed legislation such as the John Lewis Voting Rights Act advancement, and has framed access to the ballot as a civil rights issue. Now, with her background as a public defender and civil rights attorney, she has pushed for criminal justice reforms, reducing mass incarceration, reforming bail, improving accountability in the justice system. As a state representative in Texas, she filed more bills than any other freshman in that session and brought a coalition for criminal justice reform together. Now, she emphasizes support for workers' rights, livable wages, and a paid leave, as well as for small businesses, especially in underserved communities. Her district, which includes parts of Dallas, benefits from her focus on economic equity. For example, in a profile piece, she was noted to support small business development and tackle issues like reproductive rights, gun violence, climate in the context of her district. Now, she views healthcare as a human right, including dental, vision, mental health, and reproductive freedom. On environmental justice, she worked with constituents in her district who face increased pollution burdens. Example, concrete plants, shingle, mountain, and aims to address those environmental inequities. Within Congress, she has held leadership type roles as freshman, such as being elected as the freshman leadership representative in the Democratic House Caucus. Her national visibility gives her district more voice in Washington, which can translate into influence and resources. Now, lastly, it says her district, Texas 30th Congressional District, is a diverse majority-minority district, parts of Dallas and Tarrant counties, with many urban challenges, economic opportunities, health disparities, environmental issues. Now, by emphasizing voting rights, criminal justice, economic equity, and healthcare, Crockett addresses core structural issues that affect many of her constituents. Her committee assignments and leadership roles increase her ability to steer attention and resources to her district. Now, lastly, it says many of her bills are still in process, and with most freshman Congress members, delivering on legislation takes time. Some of her statements and posture are quite bold and sometimes controversial, which has drawn attention, both positive and negative. Redistricting in Texas is in full flux, and the shape of her district home address may change, which may affect her local priorities or re-election landscape. So I said all that to say, I'm just telling you from my reading comprehension, she's in the process. She's supporting. She's trying to. She's filed bills. But I didn't see where it says she did this, that, and that was done. She did get a lot of money to, I guess, restructure her office to make it easier for constituents to go in there and talk to. I didn't know, but I'm just saying maybe I don't comprehend as well as I used to, but it don't sound like she's done much. So I brought all that up to say she's saying that, and believe it or not, I guess in a hypothetical race, she is leading. So people do like Jasmine Crockett, you know, where she's at or whatever the case is. But as I watch them call Stephen, and I hear, because we know he's a Steven, let's not lie to kick it. Y'all ever see that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other? That's kind of what I envision, right? Y'all all Stevens. Because one side is talking about these people tap dancing for the massa, and it's like, oh, y'all tap dance for the massa. Case in point, Don Lemon got fired or I don't know if he got fired. Let's say he left, because I don't know exactly what happened, but he said something about a white woman, and people allege that that's why he's not there. When they got done with Joy, after she got through tap dancing, they fired her. And then a couple months later, she talked about how Rachel Maddow was getting $30 million a year, and she was getting a funky 3 for all, and she was tap dancing more. So it's like you calling Steven a Django, but y'all all Djangos, because neither one of y'all mean black people any earthly good. Y'all all getting your butter biscuits, and you talk a good game, but you don't walk one. Donovan?
Ditto. No, no. By the way, you guys, before we get into it, we earlier in the podcast this morning, we had a great interview with Miss Jessica Jackson from Turn Chicago Red, or whatever the acronym is. Great interview, great context. If you guys get a chance, go back and watch that, the replay. excellent stuff. Demetra K, YouTube, Facebook, if you guys get a chance to do that. But you know what I noticed though? Isn't this strange? Don Lemonade, a gay man, could fix his mouth to talk in a derogatory form toward black men. But I, as a black man, if I was to say something derogatory toward him, oh, I'm a misogynist. Oh, I'm anti-gay. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Why is it that when it comes to black men, people can say whatever the hell they want to say, and we're just supposed to take it with no Vaseline? But then when we fire back and do the exact same thing to them, we're misogynists, we're anti-gay, we're anti-immigrant, we're anti-this, we're anti-that. Don't let my blackness come out, Mr. Lemonade, a man who's married to a white man. And that's another thing that's kind of ridiculous about it. Here's a man talking about Django and all this other stuff, and you're married to a white man that's Django and you in your home. Took some other notes, and Miss Reid, who was running around with the Donald Trump wig, as we all saw back in the day, back when she was on television, and then when they called her out about it, she calls the person an idiot. But this is what I'm talking about. If we were to insult them, this is the negative backlash we would get. But it's all right for them to insult everybody else. One thing I do know, when you start throwing the insults down there, now some people like myself, I go lower, okay? I don't do the Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high. No. I get in the gutter with you. We can play the dozens. We can do all that. No problem. So, so here's Miss Reid running around, and this was a woman who was tap dancing all about for the white man. And speaking of tap dancing for all the white man, the very company Miss Reid worked for recently got rid of the whole DEI sector of their company. Almost 800 employees were laid off under the DEI section of whatever they're doing. So you tell me who was tap dancing. When they get rid of the whole DEI section, Asians, Latinos, Black, gay, gone. But you're saying that we're tap dancing and these people are tap dancing? Please get it right. And then Jasmine Crockett talking about reproductive rights. Reproductive rights, you guys, means plus. You're adding to. You are bringing forward life. Reproductive rights is not negative. It's not taking away. All of this spin. It's crazy. Why, Demetra, gang, I've been saying this. Why cannot the Democrats speak in truth and say what it is that they need to say? Why do they have to mask everything? When things are masked like that and hidden, isn't that suspicious? Isn't that suspicious? In the words of Umar Johnson, just say what it is. Reproductive rights is not reproductive rights. It's negative rights. You want to take away life. And again, nothing that she said, Demetra, what you read from Jasmine Crockett was all symbolism. I'm going to do what I was finna do, what I should have done, it's in the works. Have you guys ever been at a job and you had a project to do and then you go to your boss and he says, well, is the project done? I gave you 2 weeks to get it done. Well, what I was gonna do, what I finna do, it's in the works. It's still on the drawing board. You guys would get fired faster than anyway, don't let me get to those words, but let's hear what you guys got to say about it.
Y'all are a tough crowd. I will say that. Brother Reggie says, I want Joyless Reid to bring back the Trump wig. I showed my daughter that wig, and she's like, yeah, dude, looking like a Trump wig. I said, then she cut it off. I don't know if they bullied her into cutting the hair wig, whatever it was, but yeah, it was giving Trump's wigologist. She was in his closet. Undisputed Truth, how you doing? Says Don Inner Tube Lemon and Joe, y'all better knock it off. Kara, he says, wait, why don't I know y'all got a podcast on Facebook? What's it called? It's not on Facebook. It's not in the I need to do a better job at uploading them actually on Spotify. But when it's just Donovan and I, maybe we'll have a guest with no people in the comment section. We call it a podcast. If that makes any sense. All right, so let's see. Gearhead says Black Americans need to vote Brandon Johnson out so they can vote in another Black Democrat who will do the same thing. Wash and repeat. Oh no, don't do that. King Noble says when they go low, I go lower. Okay. Shout out to Eric Mays. R.I.P. to him as well, man. He gone too soon. I tell you that. Ban Internet Dad, how you doing? Says anti-Black misandry has run its course. FBA Black men are shifting. Absolutely. And African Native says if you insult a handicap all the time, you are at fault. All right. KP, how you doing? Thank you so much. He says the nerve of them. They want us back on the Democratic plantation. Freedmen forever. Reparations over immigration all day long. JJ says Joy's parents were hardcore anti-FBA. She even admitted to this. Well, that's kind of why she probably thinks the way she does. But to me, it was just funny that they all sitting up there calling each other Jangos. It's like, y'all Jangos. Okay, ain't none of y'all have done anything progressive for Black people, right? They're all part of that whole boule, all of them. Every last one of them part of the boule crowd where they sit up and at one point in time considered to be the part of the thought of Black people, right? We think for them, we speak for them, we tell them what to do. You know, and a lot of Black people are rah. Even with Don and Joy and Jasmine, they love everything they're saying. But the problem is, what are they saying? What did Joy Reid ever say as she was sitting on MSNBC to benefit Black people? In fact, when Kamala lost, she told a lot of people, not just Black, but she said, don't invite them to Thanksgiving. If they voted for Trump, you don't invite them to Thanksgiving. So she was talking more divisive than anything. And like y'all said, I didn't hear not none of them talk about reparations. I don't know if Stephen has ever, but I haven't heard none of them talk about specifically for Black Americans reparations. They all have this all lives matter thing. And even Stephen, when he was talking about, racism in a sense is what he's saying, is not the way it used to be. You know, he's talking about some other things, which I can see that some of that is on us, but to say racism is not as bad as it used to be is like if you don't go on and cut that George Jefferson off your head and get you a bald head so you can think a little bit more clearly, you better. Anyway, one unique Monique, he says the Democrats in Congress hate Jasmine Crockett. She only got 6 votes for that appropriations committee job. Yeah, which is why she said she was leaving to go to the Black church for a minute. She was going to sit with the motherboard for a minute because, you know, she found out that her colleagues don't like her like that. Let's see, Nikki, how you doing? I say talking to Gearhead, and Kelly, what's going on with you? African Native says in the plus community, the reproductive right means releasing the snowball in the wrong bin. What? I'm not even going to ponder that. Brother Reggie says, see what had happened was Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, and I purposely read all of that because I wanted y'all to see, y'all can go look it up for yourself, that there's nothing that you can pinpoint that she actually did to move the ball for anybody, right?
Wait, let me interject for you. Let me interject for you real quick. Go look up any Black representative, and I guarantee you will get the same exact result. Remember when I did the John Lewis and I exposed John Lewis's civil record? He did absolutely nothing in the 30 years he sat in Congress other than naming post offices and co-signing onto the Dreamers and all for everybody else. But specific to Black people, you will not find a representative in the United States Congress in the last 40 or 50 years that has done anything specific for Black people. I know because I looked it up.
Absolutely. And they all have the same story. All of them. They walking good and they talking good and we not gonna, and Trump is Putin's hoe. And you know what we not gonna do, you bad built, bleach, blonde, butch body. It's if you think about it, it's the whole same cadence, right? Obama, there's hope in a change you can believe in if we just try and we just keep holding on, right? So it's like, okay, great. I'm excited. Now what? Oh, I just wanted to get you excited. I'm not really doing nothing. It sounds good. That's why I always relate the Democrat Party and the church together, because they have the same effect on emotions. It is to, in a sense, appeal to your emotions. They don't want to deal with facts. And that's why I said I concede that part with Stephen A. Smith was saying is about facts over feelings per se. But all of that is meant to really just keep you emotionally tied to nothing. It's motivational, but really none of them have done anything to move the ball for Black people, not even being informational. They have all, and Stephen A. Smith at a time too. Now it sounds like he's kind of moving over to the right, but their job solely, and Stephen A. Smith was talking about sports, but I'm saying when he came over to politics, their job solely was to keep, as far as Black people are concerned, Black people tied to the Democrat plantation. That was their main job. It wasn't to actually do anything or tell, because even now with Don Lemon, he's got millions of followers everywhere. And Joy Reid, she still got a bunch of followers, and Jasmine, and even Stephen. If they really want to help Black people, they could say, hey, bump all that. The Democrats or the Republicans, neither one of them care for you. Why don't we pool our money together, practice group economics, do for self? They can all very easily do all that, but they won't do that because they're probably still getting a little something, I don't know, incentive to keep Black folks tied to the plantation. So yeah, let's see who else. John, how you doing? Says we might need to review Joy Reid's comments when she was a regular Fox News. Was she on Fox News? Didn't know that. And 48 TCO, he says I'm sick of all these pompous mofos. I wish I could curse. Same. African Native says Samuel L. Jackson didn't want Django to stay in the big house. Exactly. That if you know, you know, right? Biblin, how you doing? Says that's absolutely awful. Brother James says, and again, Minister Farrakhan said we need our own political party. Yeah, but again, their job is to keep us tied to the one that's not doing absolutely nothing for us. Brother Samuel says, I seen Stephen interview with Candace Owens and she ripped the Palestinian situation. Says, I see him hinting at his strategy to make money as he subtly makes good points, realizing the powers against truth. Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it. I know that they sat down. And we all know that Candace is very pro-Palestinian. In fact, she said that she regrets telling people to vote for Trump due to, the continuing devastation in Gaza, because that was a continuation from the Biden administration. Kimmy, how you doing? Yeah, all of that.
Donovan? So basically what you're saying is, and I'm just using my basic logic, when it comes to this Gaza situation, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You've got neo-con Democrats and you've got neocon Republicans that deal with global destruction and the taking of land and stuff like that. War is big business. So you're damned if you do, if you damned if you don't, if you vote based on neocolonialism. Correct?
It sounds like they're all the two wings of the same bird. Brother James says, I saw congressional hearing and Danny C was testifying and Jasmine Crockett didn't ask Sister Danny C a question. She just talked about Trump again. Yeah, Jasmine know who to be doing all that wolfing with. She know not to be doing all that wolfing with Sister Danny, because Sister Danny ain't gonna play. So, it's cute when she talking to the white folks like that, because they don't take Jasmine seriously. And she know they don't take her seriously, but she wasn't trying to be cutting the fool with that Black woman there, because Danny C would have ate her lunch. And she would have asked her questions that nobody asked Jasmine, right? I'm sure she would have said something about, you ain't got nothing to say about these illegals coming in our neighborhood. You ain't said one peep. So Jasmine ain't stupid. She know who to do all that with. Pierre Hart, how you doing? Let's see. And Kimmy says, you got the notification late. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with that. And Haya, how you doing? It says Jamie Foxx was the real sellout in Django, a Lamanite. Okay. I don't know how you came to that conclusion. I'm not saying you're not right, but I didn't see that. King Noble says this is Candyland. He says we gonna always be here. Absolutely. Let's see. What? Brother Reid, he says, if you're, I wasn't talking about your comment. He says, if you're not black and sassy, he says illegal or need an abortion, the Democrats won't help you. Yeah, I mean, think about it. A lot of the black men in the Democrat Party, they are. Hold on, I ain't seen it in a while. Let me see what did I do with it. Oh, here we go. A lot of the brothers in the Democrat Party are. And I really believe that's by design, you know.
Yeah, and who was that? Jamie Harrison, who was the Democratic chair during the Kamala Harris situation. See, it's like, and that's another thing. When they fail, look at all these black leaders that stepped up after the white folks fled, like they always do. Like in the 70s and 80s, when the cities were destroyed under, you know, Democratic white rule, whatever. Then you bring the black mayor in there to rebuild it and get it right where it needs to be. And then they come right back and reflood it. And it's just kind of sad that they do that, because so like right now you got this guy named Hakeem Jeffries, who's the leader in the House, or the minority leader in the House. Look at what a clown this guy is. Do you guys actually believe that this guy is actually the leader of the minority Democrats in the House, or is he taking orders from Nancy Pelosi and the white supremacists that back him and AIPAC, where he gets his money? Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they all, you know, they tap, all of them are tap dancing for somebody. All of them, whatever it is, they all are tap dancing for it. But you know, when I hear them, and I guess it eventually would get to this point where they're all now calling themselves, you know, each other sellouts and things like that. And it's like, this cannot be real life, because you're all sellouts. You've all tried to sell out black people. And, you know, I think especially with Joy, just my opinion, when she didn't deliver what she was supposed to do, right? Helping Kamala secure the presidency. It was like, yeah, you got to go. These Negroes ain't listening to you. In fact, we be on the web and we see them talking about your wig and calling you. They don't listen to you like that, right? You the people who are already on the plantation and the people who aren't trying to lead the plantation, yeah, they all in. We need you to convince the other ones that's like, well, you're not doing that. You're in a sense repulsing them. They don't want to listen to you, right? But I don't know. I don't see none of them being pro-black. Now, we know that Joy, it sounds like she's got some ancestry from somewhere else. I don't know where Don's people is from.
Yeah, I think Joy's from West Africa, I believe. She's a first-generation immigrant. Yeah.
Something like that, but none of them. But so like I said, to see them pointing the finger at each other, it's comical. It's like, are y'all serious? Y'all all got some tap shoes on. Gerald, you crazy. She's born here, but I think her parents are from somewhere else. She's a first-generation American. Yeah, first generation. And see, and that's another thing you guys got to watch out. These first-generation, second-generation people, they just got here. So their mindset is what? They're for immigration. The leader of the CBC, she's a first-generation Jamaican. I got an aunt that's Jamaican, love her to death. But they are pro-immigration because, hey, my grandfather and grandmother, they were great people. You know, there's nothing wrong with helping these people. This is their mindset because they are so close to their motherland. Just think about it. You know, I have my Jamaican family members. They're proud of their Jamaican flag, which they should be. They're proud of, you know, their heritage, which they should be. We don't have that luxury. We only got one choice of what we know is the American flag. So you got to be very, very careful of this. The leader of the CBC, who's a first-generation Jamaican here in America, she said the CBC's priority in this Congress is immigration, not the 300,000 black women that lost their jobs in the spring jobs report, not the ongoing black homelessness that is going on, not the incarceration rates of black people and unemployment of black people. Immigration is the CBC's number one priority. Think about that. Absolutely. And KP, thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. Let's see. And this says Marshall Lag. Is that you, that guy from Texas? Because y'all names are all jumbled up. But it's a $5 donation. I love it. Appreciate you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube does that. I did it last time. Let's see. I see y'all saying joy is something. Y'all know I don't like that word.
Are you really wondering why YouTube or the algorithm is doing that? Are you really wondering about that?
Well, it's just changing their names around. I don't know why it's doing it. It's not my end.
Right, but you really wonder why they're doing that? Because they don't want these messages getting out. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore how they create this confusion. Look at the trolls, and we love the trolls. Please, that keeps our numbers going great. Come on in, trolls. But the point is, this is what they do when they see platforms that are waking people up. They see the resurrectors out there waking people up. And even if you don't wake up, it's the idea of putting something in your head that makes you think, that's a good point. Let me think about that. So I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. I see y'all keep saying joy is that a word. John, how you doing? Says, I find their so-called outrage hilarious. How sorry must you be to get canceled from MSDNC and the Clinton News Network, CNN? Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, though. A lot of times people think, oh, they're more liberal. Are they really liberal? Are they just doing liberal talking points? But liberal don't mean that they like black people more than the Republicans. They like them just about the same, but they like them a little bit more out loud. Does that make any sense? But when you get done doing the bidding, you gotta go. Now they keep their white folks on there, whatever, they stay and say whatever they want, and they stay until God knows how long. But yeah,
who's that lady, Megyn Kelly? She went from Fox to MSNBC, and now she's on Sirius XM radio or something now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, with her show, White Blonde Woman, still out there saying what she wants to say. But what does that tell you when they could move? And what's that guy, Chris, whatever his name was? He was a commentator on Fox, and he went to MSNBC or CNN.
I know Chris Cuomo was on CNN, but he got fired.
Yeah, he got fired. But it was the older guy, whatever his name, Mike, whatever his name is. But my point is, do you guys ever wonder how can a conservative person move from Fox to MSNBC and then go back? You see how they keep rotating this stuff? Isn't that suspicious to anybody?
Left from CNN to Fox as well.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying? Isn't that suspicious? But they're supposed to be adversarial to each other. But it seems like they're working together to me.
Always. Hey, Fair Use, how you doing? And Kevin says a lot of these Christian conservatives are also closeted gay men on the down low. Tim Scott is also undercover gay man in the GOP. Whenever there's a conservative event, the Grindr app crashes. Yeah, my daughter was telling me about that. As a matter of fact, at the Charlie Kirk funeral, said that the Grindr app was popping. That's the gay app for men. Now, I don't know what Tim Scott is. He's engaged and married now. I know, sometimes
he's got his beard. He's got his beard.
Yeah, they get it. Listen, the check gonna clear every month, right? I just need you to pretend. So I don't know what Tim Scott is, but he got him a good Christian girl, a white woman. Is like, anyway, I said too much. Fairview says that's been their priority since 1492, since they landed over here, huh? John says also, it's their outrage about the people commenting. He says also, is there outrage about the people commenting or who they're talking about? Do they have the same outrage if people like Lizzie Fletcher and Lauren Boebert getting called out? And where is Lauren? Is she still in Congress? I haven't heard nothing else from her at all. But good question. Kevin says top leaders in the GOP are all down low. I don't know about all of that, but I take your word for it. Nikki says nobody question how all these Democrats politicians increase their earnings. The same way they do the Republicans, they do the bidding of lobbyists and things like that. For what I understand, well, I won't get into that because I need to see that myself, but I heard some things so I want to verify. African Native says Obama and Trump are first generation immigrants. Yeah, that is true. Okay, that guy from Texas. Thank you. So yeah, y'all names are all turned around. I apologize. I don't know what that is about.
Yeah, but isn't that sad? We've been here for 400 plus years, matter of fact, since the beginning of time, and we still can't get a native black FBA, whatever you want to call it, person to be president of the United States. Everybody else could come here in one generation and can run for president of the United States or be president of the United States. Kamala Harris, she's a first generation, and she became vice president. It's a damn shame how they treat us.
Yeah, but now we know, right? Now we know their playbook is to not get Black Americans. Their thing is to get immigrants or people who are close to being an immigrant as possible to cosplay for Black Americans, because Black Americans, as has been described, we got an ask. We got a major ask. They don't need not, but ask. They don't need us going in there talking about, well, since I'm here, what about some money for my peoples, right? They know the immigrants aren't going to do that. The immigrants, in a sense, be like, well, if I can't get it, then they shouldn't get it. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I legislate for everybody. And they do that because, again, they know the immigrants, and no shade to anybody as an immigrant, but they know they're not going to come over here and really just go hard in the paint for Black Americans because they're not connected to the experience. In a sense, a lot of immigrants that come over here, they're like, listen, I'm just trying to make a better way than where I was, and I'm gonna come over there, work, do what I want to do. And then they're also fed that false idea that Black Americans are lazy. We don't want it. We ain't working for it. We just want it to be given to us. And then the other, you add with that they get some other incentives, and it seems easier for them. And so they go, yeah, well, we came over here with $2 and a peanut in our pocket, and we own everything now. So if we can do it, why can't you do it? But again, because they're not connected to that systemic and institutional racism that goes back to the plantation for our people, that's not something they even want to talk about.
Yeah, and then, of course, now when they make that narrative, I came over here to what they're not telling you, as we've found, there's always money in a bill to help them. The Asian crime bill that they blamed on Black people attacking Asians and stuff, how much money was given to them? Because they were being attacked so much. It wasn't just the bill and the anti-Asian, protection and giving them protection. They always give money to these people. So when they come up with that story, I came over here with $2. What they're not telling you is also the funding and the backing and the this and the that goes in there. They're not going to tell you that part of it. They want to make it seem like they actually pulled themselves up by the bootstring, which they never did.
Absolutely. JJ said the Dems in my area have been recruiting Black immigrants like fire to get them to run for office. Some don't know how American government works. They don't need to. They don't need to know how it works, because what they're going to do is put the key in your back and tell you what to do. That's all. You just need to be a puppet, right? As long as you can take directives and orders and all of that, and you can go disseminate the messages that they're giving you, you don't need to know how it works. Which is why a lot of times you see a lot of these politicians, when they're asked questions and things, I'll get back to you. Oh, that's a good question. Well, we really haven't gotten that far yet, right? Because it's like they don't know. It's like, oh, they didn't program me to talk about that kind of stuff.
Have you seen lately, and you guys tell me if in the chat if I'm wrong, have you seen the Democrats crashing out when they're actually asked tough questions by journalists? Did you guys see Nancy Pelosi when they asked her about the thing? And that, yeah, and that Porter lady who just crashed out? What is going on with these Democrats? See, and that's what it is. They've been exposed, and like roaches, when the light is turned on, they don't want to be asked tough questions. If they can't see the answers ahead of time, they don't want to be questioned. And now that people are digging deeper and challenging them, they don't want to answer any questions.
Yep. And Artie, how you doing? And then yes, Alex, it's Chris Wallace, the one, the Hardball. That's the name of the show that he was on, Hardball. I haven't seen him in a minute. Sister B, how you be? Says Joy Reid's father is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's what I thought, in Africa, and her mother is from Guyana in South America. So yeah, she's, from different places. Dr. J.H. Irons, how you doing? Al, what's going on with you? Says not to veer off subject. What is y'all's opinion on married women keeping the maiden name hyphenated? Oh, don't get Donovan started. Oh, Lord.
Absolutely not. When you join a family, you leave your family and join that other family. So why should your name be different than your children and your husband? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually had that conversation with somebody not too long ago about hyphenating the name. They were like, well, I'm gonna hyphenate my name. I said, why? Well, because I want to keep my name, you know, this, that, and the other. I said, well, what you're saying in a sense is that I'm not willing to leave, my family to cleave, because that's what you're supposed to do per the Bible, right? Cleave on to each other type thing. And I said, and to me, when I hear a woman, that's just my opinion, please don't crucify me. But when I hear a woman say, I'm going to keep my name, I hear feminism. I hear, well, I'm not going to give all of me to you. I'm keeping something for myself, right? And then I've even heard the silliness that, well, we hyphenate both of the names and we both change our last names to the hyphenated name, right? So, Jones Brown, well, we both Jones Brown is like, no, that's not how it works. Because see, I'm more from a traditional mindset. And if I'm going to get married, I'm changing my whole name. I'll always be, my last name per se. But yeah, I think the woman should take her husband's last name. But it's to each his own, honestly, because the man might not have a problem with it. Hell, some men will even take her last name. And I've said too much. Sidebar. Did you guys see the Brian McKnight thing? Wait. And what I'm gonna bring up with that is the fact that I guess it's alleged, I don't know for a fact, that he changed his name to match his new son's thing, whatever the deal. See, this is the lunacy we're talking about. I'm just pointing that out, the lunacy that is going on. He disassociates from his other children, grown children, and he's matching the name of his new son. I guess Brian McKnight allegedly changed his name to match the new son to delineate from his other children. It's crazy. So that's not told. Hey, Brother Jonell, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just acknowledging everybody I haven't seen since we veered off into La La Land. That's not okay. He did change his name per se. He changed it to his younger son because he has a son, Brian McKnight Jr. already, but he denounced that other family. So to be like, I guess, more aligned with his new family, he took the baby's middle name. So he didn't take the last name. He changed his name to the baby's middle name so that that son could truly be Junior. That's what happened. So there's a lot of things going on, but it should be said that Brian McKnight won a $9 million lawsuit against his ex-wife for defamation and all that other stuff. And he actually played recording. He couldn't play it, I guess, while the lawsuit was going, but he played a recording of her telling him to stay away from the son that just passed. Don't call him. And I'm telling you, Leilani, I know you, Les's wife, you listening to it. And Brian, you know not to play with me. So he played it so everybody could say it wasn't that I stayed away from my son, that this is part of the alienation that took place. So that's, anyway, back to reality. Kevin says, Demetrius, there is a documentary about a gay man exposing closeted gay politicians in Congress called Outrage. They didn't need no documentary. There's a whole lot of them that's out there. They don't need no documentary. See, because my thing is this. I've always heard, thou dost protest too much. So what that means, from what I understand, is what's really going on? Why you always talking about what you don't like? Gay this, gay that, gay this, or gay people, and then you get called out coming out the closet, So I say all that to say, I find when people just really going hard, maybe I should use another terminology, when they doing too much, it's almost like they telling on themselves. Does that make any sense? They got all this legislation against this and this against that, and then they all it never fails. It seems like, well, this congressman, he, has something in his mouth that didn't belong there, or whatever.
Wasn't there a rash of scandal with the interns and the page boys and stuff?
When you say rash, brother, you gotta be careful when you say rash. Because I'm sure there was a lot of rashes.
These secret societies, there's always a sexual part of it. As a matter of fact, for some of you guys that are in the boule and into sororities, I've never pledged, but I've heard there is a sexual aspect of pledging. So I don't know what it is with these secret societies and the sexual aspect of domination, I guess, or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, you can go all the way back to the ancient Romans and things. And that's the kind of stuff they did. There's like, you're a dude, I'm a dude. You're here, I'm here. There's some baby oil, olive oil. I've said too much, but yeah, that ain't nothing new. That's not. It's ingrained in that society. Why you think on them plantations they wasn't just doing that stuff to the women? They was doing it to the men too, in the name of we butt breaking them. We want to. Is that how you got to break a man? You pervert. That's just who you were, and then you try to justify we gotta break them down. So that's just. I mean, even today you see a lot of that stuff in the news, right? So I don't want to go too far, but. I'm surprised that people are surprised when you hear about these men, getting caught at the what is it? The Blue Nile, is that the name of the gay club? Yeah, Angela, how you doing? Says Nancy Pelosi needs to spend time with her grandkids. Hell, her grandkids is our age. Shoot, they like we looking at brochures for Shady Pines ourselves. But you're right. John says, does this apply to the CBC as well? And I'm sorry, we are all off topic. I don't know what that means anymore.
Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does.
Hey, Brother Perry, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Buckhorse says, I got one question. Will they fight for this country, and who is this they? Don't look like nobody really fighting for it now. I don't know. Let's see. Joel, how you doing? He says, it's time to blame the Democrats for everything. He says you can almost set your watch by Donovan. So he says it's time to. So you're saying it's time to stop, or it's time to blame them for everything?
I think he's antiquating. Like everything I say, it sounds like I'm blaming the Democrats. No, the Democrats are not to blame with a lot of the problems that are going on in America, but the Democrats are to blame with a lot of problems that are going on in Black America. I can say that because when 90-something% of the Black population votes for one party and we can't substantially think or pull out one thing that party does for us, yes, I'm going to blame the Democrats for what is going on in Black America. When Joe Biden did the crime bill, is Joe Biden a Democrat? I think so. When they send us to war and not one Democrat went against it except Barbara Lee, I'm going to blame Democrats. When they could bring illegals over here under the Joe Biden administration, 24 million in a 4-year period that threatens Black people, yes, I could blame Democrats. Every problem that is going on in Black America, I could antiquate to the Democratic Party because all we've gotten is symbolism. I'll land my plane right there.
Yes, and Michelle, you say, I don't mind a hyphenated name. My daughter says she will always honor her father by keeping his last name and having her married name, and she's not a feminist. We have raised her right. Yeah, nothing's absolute. That it comes from a feminist mindset. Like I said, to each his own. People, a lot of couples don't have a problem with that. I just never thought about doing it. I've always said I've been tied to my family or whatever the case is, but the name doesn't make me a family member. Does that make any sense? I'm a family member, regardless of what my last name will be. So, yeah.
Yeah, remember that episode of The Simpsons with Lisa Simpson when she was talking about the future? She said, when I get older, I'm going to keep my own name. And she's talking about she got married. I'm keeping my own name.
Right, But, some men don't have a problem with it or whatever, but I wouldn't make it a point of contention. If he didn't like it, I would say, okay, I don't need to die on that hill. Hey, Brother Don, how you doing? Where you been? Sister Shirley says, this is really hard for me because I don't care for Don Lemon, Joy Reid, or Jasmine Crockett. And to top it off, Stephen A. Smith put them in a bag, and I don't know who will fall out first. All of them, right? To me, they're all the same. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hopelessly scrolling. What's going on with you? I know it's something that's stupid we said. I'm sorry. Gary said, Demetra, what was that? I don't know. Gerald, he says, FAB in the future will be using BRIC currency. Then we will have a bank, and we will be nation within a nation. It will be a nation within a nation. I think you're trying to say. Adi says, synagogue of Satan. If you know, you know. Kelly, how you doing? Said it's true. Ancient baby oil, Brother Reggie, olive oil. I guess that's what they would probably have used. 48 TCO says, he's talking to Donovan, and Kim Reid says, I am Zeta, and I wish I would in any aspect. Brother Jonell says, it's a secret society. All they ask is trust. To quote Jay-Z, yeah, they do a lot of funky things in them esoteric societies. Raven, how you doing? Says, it's just humiliation rituals. That's what it's all about, having something over somebody. Yeah, they'd have to count me out. And I still see stories. As a matter of fact, I think it was Southern and Louisiana. They are suspended. Another chapter just got suspended for hazing. Now, that's where the campus is, if I understand, where the kid, his name's Caleb Wilson, I think he was murdered during a hazing thing. And so, I don't know, so I guess hazing in a sense. But I always just wonder, why don't people just say, "Nah, I'm good. You're not sticking that where that doesn't belong," and all the stuff. No, get them to do it. You know.
Well, we can't really down all of these sororities and secret societies, because just like you said, Kamala Harris, whatever she learned at that HBCU and being an AKA, got her to the second highest position in the world.
She need to write a book about that, okay? Because a lot of women, I stand 10 toes on that. A lot of women can benefit from how Kamala did it. What you do, girl? Well, he was already old, and so all I had to do, whatever. Because shout out to Willie Brown, okay? Whatever Willie Brown had going on, I'm gonna tell you right now, Donovan and I saw firsthand. Them ladies was throwing the Spanx, okay? They're throwing the Spanx at downtown Willie Brown.
Spanx? You mean they were throwing the Huggies diaper?
Man, I was like, he's just an old guy, but maybe he has something going on. He in his 90s now. So Kamala's 60. He's in his 90s now. And it's like, my God, whatever you had to do to get it, God bless you.
And wait a minute, there was a 30-year difference between them. Where was the outrage then? When Willie Brown, all you feminazis out there, where was the outrage when this dirty old man was taking advantage of this young, beautiful woman? No outrage.
Listen, I actually got somewhere to be, but my daughter will come up in here and say, "Hey, you got to wrap it up because I got to get dressed." But y'all acting like, and I'm gonna get you a comment in a minute, Black America. Y'all acting like Kamala was some old dusty, funky, smelling like Ben Gay Negro. She was with the king, damn near California, right? So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but as I always say, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about Kamala. I got a lot of critiques of her, but what you will never probably hear, and I guarantee you everything I own, is that you'll never hear from a dusty, broke, whoever that said they've ever been in the same conversation with Kamala. Okay? Guarantee you she been hanging out with the ballers. And in a sense, ladies, if that's what you're going to do, damn a Happy Meal. Okay? Get with the man who can take you somewhere. Oh, you want to be vice president one day, boo? Okay, all you got to do is how your knees work. They all right. Bet. I'm just saying. I know it's time for me to go. Black America says, Ms. D, it doesn't make any sense. Anytime women don't like what men say, they call them gay because they know as straight men don't like being called gay. Well, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Now, somebody call you gay and you say yes, then you might have talked too much, right? People, Black America, people talk about me all day long on these internet streets, and I do not care. I sleep very well at night. They call me all kind of things, old, ugly. You need to do something with your hair. You told me I need to flat iron my hair and all this other stuff. I don't take any of that personally, right? Because I'm gonna do me. But if you answer to somebody calling you gay, then you might need to have a come to Jesus moment. I'm just saying. Now, if you ain't tasting the rainbow, then what difference does it make? JJ says P. Diddy treatment. Yeah, they was doing some of that up in Rome. Fairview says they wanted to bug break the angels in Sodom and Gomorrah long ago. And yeah, what happened to them, right? Brother Jonell says you can't fathom the depths of Satan. We tend to forget this nation wasn't founded on divinity, more or less true morality, but blood, lies, crime, and Revelation 18:4. You said a word right there. Yes, indeed. What? How do you say Roland is AKA? I don't know what that man is. I try not to be knowing what people do in their bedrooms. And then some visions I don't want in my head.
Well, we did see that little clip on his laptop when he didn't think people were looking.
Now that was weird. That was weird. Now you can say that was a one-off, but was it? Because I guarantee you right now, you ain't gonna find nothing like that remotely close on none of my computers. So what was that doing? I don't know. You know, I don't want to gay shame people or whatever. Gwendolyn, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Kelly said that doesn't mean that it's good. Okay, so let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Matt, it says congrats on the interview. Did you ask Jessica if she will run for office? I'll watch it later. You know what? We got to actually have her back again because there's so much that we could have talked about, but we told her to come back anytime she wants. I love Ms. Jackson. She is an incredible human being. And, you know, she has, she got that fight in her. I will tell you that. Very inspiring.
Yeah, but if you're asking me, because I kind of alluded to that question, I think she is smart enough to know that when you run for office, you cannot do and say certain things because of the office you hold. It's kind of like a good situation with me. I'm more effective outside as a watchdog versus being on the inside. I've gotten over $1 million of stuff done in my neighborhood. And I don't even hold an office. And I think she's kind of on the same wavelength to where she can advise and be more effective on the outside, because when you're on the inside, then you got to play that game. And then, of course, because she is an activist, the chances of her actually being elected is very slim to none. And it's not going to be the Democratic Party that's going to keep putting her down. Both parties will work when they see a person like her or myself or Demetra doing what we do. We're a threat to the establishment. And so both parties will work together to make sure we don't get elected.
Absolutely. Raven, now it says it's a different Raven. It's spelled it's Ravan or something like that. So it's spelled differently, but it's not you. I know who you are, but how you doing? You don't have to change your name. If you change your name, then how will I know you? You're gonna confuse me. Keep your name. Keep your name. Rex, how you doing? Says I'm late, but I gotta ask, what did he say that got him attacked so viciously? Well, he called out Jasmine Crockett, you know, basically saying she was uncouth, for lack of better words, talking about cussing Trump out and all, you know, the same old stuff she does. So he didn't like it. And you know, they basically said the Bojankity tap dancing brothers need to stop. So I mean, he said what a lot of people are saying, but I guess a lot of people more or less like there's so many other people you could talk about, but the focus is on Jasmine and Corey. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I just say that because people talk about me all the time. It's funny to me. I don't wear that, you know, or take it personally at all. It's funny. You got to learn to laugh sometimes, you know. 48 TCO says, Abe, so you're talking to somebody else. And a salute to you as well, Slim Slammer. Michelle says, we need an independent party. I'm tired of both sides. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's get it started. And Brother Abdul, how you doing? Says, Martin Luther King was a real threat to the Democrats, Senate's Republicans. Yeah, he became that when he stopped using their talking points, right? When he says, I'm going there to get a check. That's when he, no sooner than it came out of his mouth, they was like, I bet you won't, right? It's like, oh, no. And they looked at all their notes and they was like, I don't see nothing about going. Tell the people to go get their checks.
You know, but the reality of the situation is, if you guys look at it, you know, realistically, if a strong third party rises, then this duplicity that the Republicans and the Democrats do will not work. And that's why they will join together in your face to put down the third party. Remember Ross Perot? He cost Daddy Bush the election because he was that strong when he rose as a third party. But notice if you go back and you look at the clips of the election, the Republicans attacked Ross Perot and the Democrats attacked Ross Perot. This system cannot work with another strong third party, even though democracy is supposed to be many parties. That's why a parliamentary system, when you go to France and England, when the French get pissed off, they shut the government down, cut and dry. They get in the streets. See, we don't do that because we only have a two-party system with both parties working together.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to go because I got somewhere to go. I'll tell y'all about it tomorrow. Lene,
Another Ice. Wait. Are you going to the after Ice Cube G Funk Crip Walk gathering? Is that what it is?
No, Kim would never have it. Okay, Kim would never allow it. No, I'm not going. I'll tell y'all about it tomorrow. I'll tell y'all about it tomorrow. I'll tell y'all about it right now. I'm going to see The Last Dragon. Have y'all heard of that movie? It's new. It's in theaters.
They brought it back to theaters for what, a week or so? Something like that?
A couple of days, yeah. 40th anniversary. And believe it or not, I went 40 years ago. I know. Stop. I know. I don't look old enough to have seen a movie.
No. Just, wait. You could have gone 40 years ago. But you were on your mom's shoulder.
Yeah, I was. No, actually, I was in her womb, right? I was like, you are the last dragon. So, yeah, I'm going to go see it again tonight in theaters. And I'm going to even take my little chopsticks. I kid you not, I'll take y'all a picture. And I'm going to eat my popcorn like Bruce Leroy did with his chopsticks.
Who is the baddest? Who is the prettiest? Who? Classic.
Yeah, so it's so nostalgic. I've seen it a million times, obviously, but just to see it in theaters again. No, it's not a remake. It's the original. 40 years, later and all that other stuff. R.I.P. the Vanity.
Yeah. The funny thing is a lot of like really good movies are being put back into the theater, which is going to boost their theatrical release tally as you add to it. So a lot of these movies are coming back and being re-released for theaters for our kids that don't know what real good looking movies are. I can't wait till we see like The Breakfast Club and those 80 movies that really talked about us in high school.
Yeah, Brother Reggie. Vanity. I'm going to tell y'all my Vanity story before I leave. The year had to have been 1982, I think, when Nasty Girl came out. True story. Okay. My dad, as you know, was a mechanic. You also know that he was the second lieutenant to that of Brother Khalid Muhammad. Okay. Now, we were going to pick him up from the airport in his very long car. And as we're waiting, because in LAX, in airports back then, there wasn't security. You could just park right there, right? And go get out, whatever. So me and my siblings were in the car. And on K-Day, the Vanity, a Nasty Girl came on. And I was never the same. Not that I became a nasty girl, but it was just everything about it, right? I just could not. Now, admittedly, at 11, 12, I was like, I don't really know what the candy cane, the references about or anything, but I liked the song. So that's how I ended up, really liking Vanity. Of course, R.I.P. to her, Denise Williams. Was her name. R.I.P. to her, right? But, man, I remember where I was when I first heard that song. Iconic. Anyway, a Seventh Heaven. Yes, I'm going to hear about that too. Brother Samuel, Seventh Heaven and all that. So, yes, Eddie Arcadian, if you know, there's a lot of Eddie Arcadians running around now, and they have a lot of artists that would be produced by Eddie Arcadian.
Catching bullets with his teeth.
Yes.
Negro, please.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to see Vanity say, well, you look like a master to me. Anyway, let me get out of here before I miss the damn movie. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Join me tomorrow at African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. Central Time. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but we're going to talk about it when I find out what it is. And then join me tomorrow 5 p.m. Central Time back here. Donovan won't be here. We've actually moved our show to Monday, whatever the case is. So love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Please come back and see me tomorrow. Peace.